Ask any archer, why do archery? And you'll probably get something like, why not do archery? And honestly, it can be difficult for us to express exactly how we feel when we do archery. Because so many of us do archery for different reasons, it's not really fair to put up a list of 5 reasons. It's more important to understand the people who do archery and connect with the experiences, the stories, and the motivations they bring. I've invited a number of people to share their archery journeys, and perhaps you can find something that will resonate with you. My own origin story is quite modest. I was coming out of a relationship and I had a lot of time. Too much time, that sort of thing. So I really had to find something to fill in that gap in my life. I checked out a local archery club, the one I'm standing in right now, and it's a sport which immediately clicked with me. Now understand that I started fairly late, in my mid-20s. Not old, but I wasn't a teenage prodigy who loved sports and did archery because I was excellent at it. No, in fact, I was a very non-sporty person. I hated sports. I hated running around. I hated that team competition environment. I was the sort of person who was much more comfortable with a mouse and keyboard. But with archery, it brought something else which fulfilled me in a way which I didn't think I needed. And it was that perfectionist streak. The idea where it was an individual challenge and it would unpack more about me as I did more of it. It's like how every time you repeat it, you want to do something better. From there, I started to try competitions. I did a club competition and I won a club championship. And it's a modest goal, but for someone who never did sports, it was a crowning achievement. For me to win first place and to hold a trophy or a plaque, it's something which I never experienced before. And then I did state competitions. Then I tried a world competition. And it didn't matter that some of these events were low key or there weren't that many people, and it didn't matter that I came like 10th out of 10. The point was that I was able, through archery, to push myself out of my comfort zone and do things which I didn't think I would do. That I would go down a path that I didn't think I would follow and find new destinations which didn't exist. It was a new environment, a new challenge. Not only have I gained from the sporting side of archery, I've also benefited from traditional styles of archery. I find traditional styles to be incredibly relaxing. I can just let go, and it's a huge contrast to the intense, focused, competitive side of archery. And then there's traditional Eastern archery, something which is more martial and more historical, and I find myself immersing in historical text and manuals and learning from other teachers and sharing the passion with other archers. And that has a completely different side of archery. Point is that archery, no matter what its style or form or discipline, isn't the static, boring, repetitive art that you might think it is. Archery is something that evolves with you. Perhaps the best part is that I've been able to share and teach my passion with other people. I've been an archery instructor, an archery coach, and I've connected with so many communities worldwide. And archery is a big family. Archery is a big community. And knowing that I've been able to do my part to contribute to this community all around the world is something which has helped me realize a goal that is greater than myself. Having had the chance to involve and be involved in so many archery journeys, I've invited some of these people to share their reasons for doing archery.
What got me started in the sport of archery? Well, my dad won a bow at a gun raffle when I was 5 years old. It was an adult compound hunting bow, much like this one right here. And so I couldn't use it, but it got me excited and interested in it. And we got like a cheap bare compound, a real small fiberglass compound that I used to shoot in my backyard. No lie, my very, very, very first shot was at 20 yards, which is twice the distance that you would ever want to start a beginner at, or 18 meters. and my very first shot was dead center in the center of the target. So from that moment on, I was kind of hooked, and of course, you know, all of the arrows after that missed the target by miles, but I do vividly remember my very first arrow. So when things got tough, when I was training full-time before I made my first Olympic team, you know, there was moments where I wanted to quit. There was moments when I wanted to stop, when I thought, you know, things just weren't going my way. But ultimately, what made me keep going was my need to stay competitive, my need to be competitive. You know, I'm a very competitive person at heart. Plus, you know, this sport is basically a individualized sport where you only are relying on yourself. You know, your ability to shoot an arrow, your ability to read the wind, your ability to deal with pressure, with stress, and everything like that. And all you gotta do is be better at it than the next guy. Why I succeeded or why I failed was ultimately on my shoulders. What I was doing every single day, day in and day out, was leading up to ultimate success or failure in the future, and I was the one that would choose which direction it would go.
I do archery because it makes me push myself to the limit and beyond the limit. And it constantly helps me get the best out of myself and improve myself as an athlete, but also as a human being. So it's a very nice thing for me to do.
For me, it's some kind of meditation. It's a sport that you have to do all on your own. You can get some help from others, but everything has to come from inside you. That said, I also enjoy the company of friends doing the sport, having fun with them, talking with them.
One of the reasons why I love archery so much, and something that it's taught me, is to take a more positive attitude towards failure. So say you go out and you shoot a round and it doesn't go how you wanted it to. Instead of thinking to yourself, well, I'm an abject failure then, you instead need to just be a bit reflective and think back on how it went, and the following day or maybe the following week just start to piece together what went wrong. And this sort of discipline and this kind of positive attitude, positive mental attitude, is very important in archery, but also can be applied to a lot of other areas in my life.
So I started archery when I was about 15 years old, and just like every other 15-year-old, you know, I had kind of low self-esteem, didn't think too highly of myself. And archery has given me the opportunity to, you know, shoot all around the world. I've been fortunate enough to represent my country a number of times and, you know, shoot at a competitive level. And that really taught me, the most important thing I think that taught me was how to think of myself as a high performer. And that mindset shift has really helped me in all areas of my life. You know, my career and my studies, in business, and my relationships. And so I find that that alone keeps coming back for more. And when I was younger, I just wanted to win, go out and win every competition under the sun. But now archery is about so much more to me. And for me, archery is just a vehicle for personal growth. So now I'm really fortunate. I run an archery school in Brisbane called Rogue Archery. And through Rogue Archery, I'm able to share that with other people. So I'm hooked.
Well, the reason why I shoot boils down to nothing more than a childhood obsession that's kind of got out of hand, I think. I shoot purely for the love of shooting. That's my motivation when it comes to archery. Nothing more than just being out in the woods with a couple of buddies, shooting my stick and string. It makes me happy. It's other than my wife and my kids, it is a huge part of my life, probably the biggest part of my life. It's sort of who I am, and I don't know what I would be or who I would be without archery. But I don't shoot for trophies. I don't shoot to win tournaments. I shoot for a love of shooting, which some may seem odd, but to me, winning anything isn't the goal. The goal is to be out in the woods shooting, and that's what I love. And that's why I shoot.
I practice a style of traditional military archery that almost disappeared from the human cultural record. What started as a curiosity quickly evolved into an obsession as I began to realize there was something more to it, something deeper. You hear these stories, these legends, of what the ancients could do, incredible feats of strength and precision. You ask yourself, is that really so? Then, curiosity gets the better of you, and you set out to prove it. Regardless of your cultural tradition, when you shoot a bow and arrow, you recreate the movement and mindset of your ancestors. By recreating, you connect with them. You bring their cultural legacy back to life. Why do I do archery? to preserve a way of practice, to preserve a way of life.
I'd like to thank everyone who has been part of my archery journey, and I hope that our stories and experiences have inspired you in your archery journeys and in your lives. So, why do you do archery? Post your thoughts and stories and experiences below, and hopefully you too can motivate someone else to go down this archery pathway. For those of us who have been on the journey for a long time and perhaps have lost our way, remember why you did archery in the first place. Whether you are new or old, may all your arrows fly true.